Welcome to episode 121. You've heard of AR and VR. It's become, quite the in thing about what's happening and how visualizations and video will now move into AR, and then hopefully we will have a world which will be completely enclosed and we'll be able to see things within that entire environment. Today we have two interesting young people who have made it their career objective to get into AR and VR, and we'll find out what they are exploring. Hrithik Tiwari is an entrepreneur working at a startup in EdTech, Stealth. He's looking at changing the education landscape using 3D and immersive experiences with the help of AI. He told me that he wants to help children in tier 2 and tier 3 cities because bandwidth is an issue. And he wants to see how teachers' training tools can be improved so that the subjects and the explanations can be a lot clearer. He's also done some great work for that happened with the Kumbh, and hopefully we'll be able to get some part of that as well. Nikhil is a 3D animator and a hard surface modeler. So what does that mean? That he's aware of how 3D animation works. He has experience in doing those industries. And the interesting bit is that he started off in Indore and then moved to I don't know if it was Bombay. I'll check. Uh, and then there he started out with 3D exteriors and interior designs. Then he joined Maya Digital in Mumbai, and then he's worked with Technicolor India, and now he works with a gaming company. So he's got skills which include working in architecture and design, in animation, and now in game design. So let's talk to these two youngsters and figure out what exactly they've got planned in the years ahead. Hrithik, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Venu, for the awesome introduction and having me on the show. It's very awesome that people are understanding AR and VR nowadays. It was something introduced 5 years back, and people are still trying to get to know the use cases of where AR will be happening, where we can use VR. What is a VR headset? Many people have experienced it, some have not. AR is very interesting because now even Amazon shopping website has AR integrated where you can see the products right in your space. So I think pretty much most people know about AR. Uh, I'm gonna say few more things about VR, how VR is gonna impact the way people understand and use it.
Great. We'll get into that, Hrithik. Nikhil, welcome to the show. Your skills in animation and how you've moved out of just architectural design into 3D and serials as well, and now in game design. So, welcome to
Uh,
the show.
Thank you, Venu. Yeah, that was a massive change for me also. My elder sister is a 3D architect actually, architect.
Okay.
So she is my inspiration till now also. So
Okay.
this is
Wonderful.
the reason I started with the architect field. While I was learning 3D animation modeling everything in
Okay.
So I got my first opportunity in Maya when one of my senior alumni visited our studio and he found my really interesting. So that's how I started with him. He was already working in Maya, so he was a guiding person for me in this field. Yep,
Wonderful. We'll get to each part of that, Nikhil. So,
sure.
what I want to start off with today is, did this interest come right in the beginning? Or is it something, what were the other things that you explored before you got into it? Ritik, why don't you start?
Yeah, so for me, it was I was too much into games, wanted to play games, and we were very fascinated by GTA Vice City, GTA San Andreas. And, that was an era of computer games. People were so much into gaming, and they used to spend their whole day playing games, inviting friends over, like, hey, this is a game. Do you want to play? I have got this GTA right now, latest one. So let's come together. Why don't you skip the evening play and come to my house and let's play. So that was the craze, and that was the vibe at that time where people, where I grew up. And we used to, I didn't used to play a lot of games because I was already into playing football, and it was like, I wanna play those things and have that. But it was very fascinating to
Where
know.
did you grow up, Hrithik? Which city did you grow up in?
I grew up in a city, Boisar, which is located near Mumbai in Maharashtra. So here we studied in Chinmaya Vidyalaya Tarapur, where we used to have like a proper holistic education, having all the like spiritual prayers uh, related to our Indian culture. We used to understand what is Indian culture and what makes us better at the religion that we practice, not just uh, better at Hinduism. So it was very good. We used to have all sorts of people, different backgrounds coming together, learning new things. We used to play a lot. We used to learn a lot, and we used to have fun a lot. So that is how most of our childhood grew up. So uh, because some people, they get new ideas, they make some innovations. So there were different sets of children, and Chinmaya Vidyalayas are known for fostering good education and bringing out the best of different skill sets, like even music and all the cultural aspect that comes with. So for me, I was very much like fascinated, and used to dream big. We used to take some very crazy books from our libraries. We used to sit in libraries for a long time, and we used to see the sci-fi uh, books. We used to learn, and we used to share with some of our other friends that, hey, like, is this really possible? We used to question Einstein. We used to, like, we were too much into science. uh, and I believe
Yeah,
everyone who is in this field, they started somewhere with interest in science and sci-fi, because science fiction is something that is uh, science fiction is very amazing. Like when we see the series, some web series like Flash, where the guy is battling with time, we used to understand the paradoxes that, example, the grandfather paradox, where you go and you uh, kill your grandfather, so will you exist in the time machine? So
yeah, yeah.
it was very fascinating. We grew up learning this. So it was always, we used to dream something crazy, that, yeah, we want to make something where you can, maybe not spaceships or something, but we want to have a virtual space around us. So
Great.
that is what got me interested in this. And
Okay. I'll come back to you on this. Let me ask Nikhil what his early impressions were. Yeah.
My
You
early
already told
impression
me
is
that
was
your sister's the one who inspired you, but what were your
yes.
interests, Nikhil?
Uh, Firstly, like very fascinated with the this sci-fi thing. Like Harry Potter is my like favorite
Yeah.
thing. What I watch, like I used to like take a pen, pencil, or I will do something. Or even if you have watched that Shakalaka Boom Boom. So
Okay.
these are like my favorite things. So like mostly all others also. Even I used to watch like Shaktiman. And do circles on floor and want to go escape the world. So these were the things what I was having in my mind from so long, and I got an opportunity after 12th. So this frame box, even Reliance big M's was there in Indore. Right now it is closed right now. So uh, I used to visit that studios. Even I don't want to join them, but I used to visit them to get the intro. Every time I'm getting the same intro, but I am very interested in that. Even I attended
Okay.
3D animation and VFX workshop for free, 3 days workshop. I enjoying that. And when they are asking me, do you want to join? Well, I will ask my father and I will tell you if I can join or not, because the field was really new for me. Back in 2013 I started exploring this field. So eventually I joined Mac before, and I joined it for 2 months. Then I rejoined Framebox Institute. Then I continued my 3D animation course over there. So
What's Yeah, no, you're right. That's usually the way in which, interests in a subject, interests in certain aspects of whatever you do come from so many different sources. It's never about one thing that you're able to see, because even what you started out with wasn't really animation, but then you figured out how to move towards that.
Yes.
Okay, now let me just ask you, how important was the salary to you? Because that is one thing that a lot of people are fixated on when they begin. If I get into this, that's the first question they ask. They don't look at their interests as much as saying, okay, what is the starting salary in a business? In your case, was that important? Or, and what were the starting salaries, and how do you think things progress? I want people to get an understanding of how you approach it, because you're at that age. And what were the things that influenced you? Let me know.
Nikhil.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So, for my first job, when I started in Maya, so my first salary was 15,000 in Mumbai. I have to relocate to from Indore to Mumbai. It was like I had to take borrow money from my father. 50,000 around I took, and I used all of this money within month. So it was like very
Yeah.
tight thing. Like I even after 10 days, 15 days of the salary, I used to have nothing. Like I was merely about 1,500 rupee in hand. So yeah, so starting salary was 15,000 in my institute, and the salary differs from different cities. Like
Right.
at the same time, uh, Technicolor in Bangalore is giving freshers like 25,000, in 22,000 in uh, Gurgaon if you start in Delhi. So it
Okay.
used to differ for everything, every
Okay.
places.
Right. Right. So then you worked in Maya for how long before you moved to
Uh,
Technicolor?
I worked around less than a year, around 9 months. So I got
Okay.
an
Okay.
opportunity. Actually, this Maya Institute took a interview, walk-in interview in Pune. I attended that, and I got selected for that. So
Okay.
it was a better opportunity also for me and for my growth
Right.
also.
Definitely. Yeah. Ritik, what about you?
I started as an entrepreneur. So I was inspired by Zomato taking funding back then in 2018, 2017, 18. So Zomato was a new thing. And I started with building applications, mobile applications. So I started as a freelancer. I was into the thing that I'm gonna build a company. So even before freelancing, I uh, started with different concepts that getting a website or something, learning about coding. So coding was a thing that we came from that era where coding was something very difficult to learn. Like it was a very high rated skill, and I thought we had this thing already with us. So back in 2018, it was already 2.5 years where I knew coding and I knew how to build applications. I was talking to people, to businesses, and I was telling them that okay, I will build a platform for
So,
you.
how would you price a project? How would you go about pricing a project?
So I
And what
think
were the kind of things that you quoted at that point, and what went through your mind as to how do you start quoting?
because as a early on student just moving into the field directly without any proper guidance, so we used to be like 10-15K for any project. We used to think for that, okay, like websites are something which are single pager and anything, so it has to be 5-6K for a website. But the speed at which we build, like it used to take an entire month to build a single landing page. Now with chat gpt and things, it's too easy. But back then it was something you have to build every pixel, every thing. And we used to think that okay, coding is the only thing, because when we used to listen that okay, Zomato, Blinkit was not there back then. Uh, Actually, yeah, like Paytm was back then very awesome. Like many people were after that inspired by Paytm. There was a web series called TVF Pictures. So
Hmm.
uh, yeah,
Yes.
Yes, it has
Yeah,
been very famous, very
yeah,
like even in the movie, there was the main protagonist, Naveen Bansal. He was very much into that. I want to do something crazy, something amazing. So we were also inspired by him. There was a guy Jitu in that. He left coding for his wife supported him, but his father was very strict. So these things inspired us that okay, entrepreneurship and all this journey is not gonna be easy. Talking about salaries, entrepreneurs are never paid really because
yeah.
they
You
don't
don't have a salary day.
yeah, they don't value their time. They think that okay, I got a project for like let's say uh 20K, 30K, whatever. So they think in their mind that okay, I got 30K, but in the process 30K is lost. I mean, it takes time, right? Suppose if you earn 30K for one project, it is cool. But if the project is for 5 days, then 30K makes difference. It makes a lot of sense for you. But if it is for 2 months, 3 months, so then it doesn't have that much of
Very
value
true.
and people lose interest. So for others who are just starting off, like people who are gonna be in the AR and VR field, right now it's very hot field and people are paying you like you can have 5 to 8 LPA just to start with. That is a starting salary. If you're getting in AR and VR field, animations field where Nikhil actually is in the animations field, it is a much more valued field and but here also as a starting you would actually only get 5 to 8 LPA. As you go on people will start paying you 10 LPA, 12 LPA, so that goes
Yeah,
on. But start it's always the way Nikhil said, like start you might also get 2.5, you might have to take from your parents, but right now the field is where you don't have to. Right now people understand the value and people actually demand these skills.
okay, great. So let me now talk about, let's say, Nikhil, what were the, kind of animation projects that you really enjoyed and which was also very tough to do?
which is also tough to do.
Yeah. Otherwise, there's no fun. Huh? Yeah.
uh, Actually, I will say like uh, particularly high quality means a high responsibility and high like the difficulty level is also high. But the thing is, deadline also matters a lot in everything. So the project which I really want to share, like lots of the following is the project, like a realistic game.
Okay.
It was launched in 2022 November fall. So
Okay.
it was really challenging for me. It was a great like hyper realistic character animation was there. Also, I was new to mocap at that time, and that handling mocap data. And if you see like 1000 2000 and I don't know, like many frame, a single shot can be of many frame. It can be any long, and mocap data is like keys in every single frame. So it was a
Okay.
back data. So managing that data was like really hesitating for a new guy if you are starting with a mockup in directly in that superior project. So that was a really but the output we what we got after VFX and everything, texture and everything, what we saw in the trailer, what it was worth working overtime also. What I can
Right.
say.
Right. Right. No, that's always the wonderful part that when you're working on something which is really tough to do, it seems to be very stressful. But at the end of it, when you see the result of all the effort that you put in, then I think your mindset changes quite a bit because you realize that all that work that you put in was really worth it. And you may not have enjoyed that actual process, but at the end of it, the results were forthcoming. So, what were did you find that you liked working on technical stuff, or was it more difficult to do emotional scenes? So let's say if you have to show victory, there's action
Yes.
where animation has to, sort of figure out exactly what. But there is also animation which has to convey emotions. So the character has to perform. So did you find that more interesting, or did you like doing action more?
I think technical stuff is like, for me in particular, this creative field, technical stuff is like, okay, someone will do it. It can be handled. But creative, but like if you gave some emotion, it has to be conveyed. Otherwise, there is no sense doing it.
It doesn't work.
So
Yeah,
yeah, it will not work. If you're cracking a joke, but you are happy, but the customer or the people who are seeing is
person
they
who's
should
viewing is not. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
they has to feel the same vibe. Otherwise, it will not work. So I think creative part is like really difficult to convey. Yeah,
Okay,
and
great. So let me take a minute. I'll just sort of, yeah, you're listening to the My First Job podcast. I'm speaking to Hrithik and Nikhil. Nikhil is into animation, and Hrithik is into AR and VR programming. They talk of their early influences. They talked of how they grew up and what were their sources of inspiration and what did they like doing and how they got into the business. They also spoke about starting salaries and how they're low, and you have to rely on your parents initially to begin with. But as you gather experience, then you will begin to do pretty well. And I think Hrithik gave quite a good summary of all the salaries that people could expect if when they're starting off. And he did the difficult thing of starting off as an entrepreneur, which is even more difficult than starting off as a in a job, because somebody else will take care of your monthly salary. In the next segment, I'm going to talk to both of them about the kind of projects that they have worked on and what were the kind of challenges that they faced. And we will go in with specific examples because I think they've done some very interesting work, and we'll see what they have to say. This so please subscribe, share, and let your friends know about this podcast that tells you all about career options. Okay, so Hrithik, now let me know what were among the first things that you did in AR, and what were the kind of things that challenges that you faced.
Okay, so how we got into AR and all this was the Web3 revolution actually. There was a time when cryptos, blockchains, and Web3 development was getting very trendy. Everyone was trying to have a NFT scam, and uh, some people were doing
Yeah,
things positively, some were doing it negatively. But
yeah.
we know that many people launch NFTs with some promises, but those promises never got fulfilled. Uh, they told about that you will be able to join in exclusive clubs, you will have some uh, like various several other opportunities that you would get by buying the NFTs worth of millions of dollars. But I don't think that really went through. So as a techie, me, my mentor, and several others, we were working with NFTs. We were solving the Web3 things. We were building on top of blockchains because that is what there was sudden surge in, and the requirement was. But we were not able to answer the question for ourselves that where will be using NFTs? What is gonna be the use of NFTs?
Right.
And as an entrepreneur or as a I mean someone with a vision, you can't convince yourself to every day wake up and work just for money. I mean, you have to really find a purpose. You have to find a meaning of what is it actually going to be, where is it going to be used. So I spend a lot of time, my friends, other colleagues, mentors, and everyone. I used to ask them, "What is the use of NFT?" I mean, ठीक है, I will buy your
Okay,
NFT.
Hrithik, I'll just stop you for a minute because I'm saying for the people who don't know, NFTs are non-fungible tokens. They are, how would you explain an NFT? Because there are so many forms and there are so many, divergences into how it started with Bitcoin, and then you have the protocol, and then you have various forms. So, can you describe in brief what an NFT is and what kind of work you did?
Okay. So basically, NFT or a blockchain, NFT is a non-fungible token, as you explained, but it starts with blockchain. Blockchain works on a zero trust economy. Right now, we see a very huge problem that US can print as much dollars as they want, but initially it was supposed to be equivalent to gold. So gold can only be mined at a particular speed. And if you want to mine more gold, you have to put in more resources. More resources mean more man force. More man force equals to more opportunities, more economy,
Yeah.
more money. So it was a complete cycle. But right now, printing paper money is so awesome, like so easy. You go there, you're like, hey, this much money, and they print it for you. So
Yeah.
inflation is actually like people who are not working in the US are like they're facing like hell like situations. So it's very painful. So when 2007 crash, there was a guy who actually saw this and he started working on the blockchain. So just to give like a very small overview, blockchain is a digital gold. So just imagine, don't get into the tech as such. We'll just be understanding the concept. That concept is blockchain is digital gold. It can be mined, and mining requires man force. There are miners who are technical people. They have to spend money, they have to spend electricity. So spending money, electricity means booming the economy wherever they are living in. They will be creating more job opportunities, and as a result you have money on blockchain which can be very limited. And as the demand goes on, the value also, the inflation also is very like it just rises as per gold. The value of gold rises, so demand also rises, and then you can't keep it in your lockers. I mean, you will have to circulate it. You cannot be accumulating it. You would, but
Okay.
uh, not until inflation. So NFT is imagining that you have a let's say, what is the proof that you have given me, let's say 10 bitcoins. You have given me 10 bitcoins, I have given you 10 bitcoins, or I have given you a potato, let's say, for 10 bitcoins. So what's the proof? There is no proof really if it is in USD. You can just show that okay, this is a bill, but I can claim that no, you didn't give me a potato, give my dollar back. Okay. So blockchain works on that factor that there is a smart contract which is written that every time you get a potato, you will give me 10 bitcoins, and that is a mutual agreement. That is a smart contract. So similarly, the potato can be unique, right? What if the same potato I'm selling to Nikhil, Venu, you, and 10 more people, the same potato? So suddenly you have paid me in advance, and the day of buying the potato, you guys are coming like, no, I have already paid you. I
It's
should
all
get
the
it.
same. Yeah. It's all the same.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the thing is that you will keep the potato also on a blockchain. You will create a non-fungible token. So it is not fungible. That means it's unique, and the data is stored there. Now the potato, you will have the complete blockchain address, a specific contract ID, and based on that you will get the potato, and that will be unique to you, and it will be shown to all other people. Even Nikhil and 10
Hmm.
more people will have the proof that okay, I have sold that potato to you, and you own it as an asset. So what happened back in 2022 and all this is many people they boomed. They like back in 2021 it started after COVID, post COVID. People were just having the virtual assets, virtual lands. They were creating virtual lands, virtual photographs, so many different assets. They were creating 3D models as well, and they were selling it for some cryptos. So people used to buy it thinking that its value is gonna rise. So it's,
Skyrocket.
yeah, and many
So
people
you
made money out of
actually
it.
helped with doing the coding in the back end for the NFTs, or
Yes,
were you
yes.
involved? Because I would assume that people like Nikhil are the ones who are creating the digital assets with animation or with various things that are very unique. So, for example, there will be a set of characters that he develops for a game, and then if you want to own the original characters, then you have to pay for them in NFTs. And you would be the ones designing that contracts, or would you be involved with the coding of how these things actually worked?
Yeah. So what we used to do is we used to write smart contracts. and there was a platform OpenSea. So posting it on
Okay.
OpenSea and listing it doesn't require anything. But we build our own platform. The platform was called Funktastic. If
Okay.
So on Funktastic, we used to list different NFTs. We worked with some people like Vipul Goyal, Gaurav Kapoor, and we were gonna work with few more comedians. But then the bubble actually burst out. But uh, that was a good thing. But so we worked with these people. Vipul Goyal, we launched 50 unique NFTs. We created
Okay.
uh, assets for him, like meme templates, which you could buy. So even I bought one, and many others, they bought those NFTs. So how we do is we list those NFTs on a platform called OpenSea, and uh, from OpenSea you pay some amount in polygons. There was a polygon is a token just like Bitcoin. So from there you can actually buy the NFT. You can own it and you can resell it at a higher value. But
Okay.
so when we were discussing what is the use of what is the use of NFTs, we came across Metaverse. We got to know that okay, if you own a virtual asset, if you own a crypto, in the 3D world, anything can be created unlimited number of times. So uh, example, Nikhil creates a model of a 3D glass. So Nikhil is an animator. He will create it. He will, even post the video. But I can also copy it and I can sell it as my own. Like very simply,
Right.
I can copy and sell it. That is what happens in the virtual world. But if
And that
Nikhil,
copy is just as good as the original, which is the other issue. Because if you were doing any other form, then it was easier in earlier times to say that this is a copy and this is the original. But in a digital world, the copies are just exact replicas. They are the original. You can't say so that is the difficult part to overcome. Yeah.
yes. So this
Huh.
particular problem was getting solved by NFT, but the economy part was not getting solved correctly. That okay,
Right.
now you have
Right.
a thing. So we got to know that okay, if we have a metaverse where people can actually come, they can talk, they can uh, dance and sing, whatever, they can connect. So there they will have a community based on those NFTs. So example of, let's say, Vipul Goyal as a stand-up comedian, he has a good fan base, like 2 million plus subscribers. I don't know the recent stats, but he had good fan base, people who were who follow his comedy. They watched those things, and there are several other comedians, even like Samarena had a good fan base. Uh, some for good reasons, some for different reasons. So there,
Yeah.
uh,
No, but I think so. The other thing is, Hrithik, we're going very heavily into NFTs, which people may not really understand. So let's go into where your AR began. What exactly happened, and what are the kind of things that you found would be an interesting career exploration for you in AR?
okay, so AR was very simple. We were while working, we got to a point of saturation. We were like, okay, everything is same. We are not able to experience the products. Like we are even at a point where 4G network is very common. People have 4G everywhere. People are watching reels. Reels are very common. YouTube shorts were booming. So in this era, we wanted to have people have more connect, more engagement. So when we had this thing that you can have a virtual try on, that is, even before buying a cloth, you can actually see yourself how you look in that particular dress, and you can try the outfit. You can see that if it matches your uh, personality before actually checking it out. So in other countries like Japan and China, it is very common. They have in shopping malls they have smart mirrors. So even we were working on a smart mirror technology. So we also worked on one aspect where you can have smart mirrors installed in gyms. So with it could detect your posture and everything. So AR has a very good
Okay.
use
Okay. So
case.
you could actually make out where you were making a mistake if you were while you were exercising.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
That's
So
fantastic. Let me just bring in Nikhil at this point because I want to ask him one question. So, what happened? What were the things that you were doing in AR when he came up with the concept? So, let's say, were you doing the animation for that particular? Let's take that gym example. So, he tells you that I'm doing some AR. So, what would your requirement be? What would you need to do in animation?
Uh, not particularly in animation, but as a CG artist, I will be like required what pre-production thing I will be required, like a simple script, what he wanted, what he want to convey. So that will be like if any character is there, if any cinematic is there, if is he having any goal or any like what he wants to convey. This basic things will be required. Then we can just start with the modeling part. uh, am I going right? Right.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we can start with the we can start with this
Modeling.
modeling part. Yeah. Then
Okay.
for AR, we will just provide the asset part, animation part, and then he can continue with this interlinking with the software, interlinking with the web thing. So after that, he will take care of
Okay.
things.
Okay. So basically, they will tell you that, hey, this is what the model needs to do, and they will manage all the other link ups and connects that are required in order to help people understand. Let me take the
True.
same gym example. So if somebody is coming in and they're not moving it right, you will carry out all the variations of where people would make mistakes, and they would then connect up that. So if a person deviated, then they were able to see how they were making a mistake. Am I right?
Yes.
Nikhil,
True.
is that sorry, Hrithik, is that roughly how you would characterize this? That you would have the keyframes that you wanted and tell Nikhil that this is what you need to do, and once he did the animation, then you would code it to ensure that that came out.
Uh,
You're
so
on
that
mute.
workflow
Mute.
was, yeah.
Yeah.
So this workflow was a little different. While we were working here,
Okay.
we had two sets of modules. While we were working on the smart mirror, it was when we work on the smart mirror, it is related to AI model. The AI actually understands our body posture. It detects the points like our elbow, joint, hands, shoulders, everything. And when we are doing a particular exercise, we have to select that this is the exercise that we do. So that has nothing very directly related to the 3D part. In the same application that we built, we had an entire module where you can learn, you can visualize that this is how the exercise is to be done. And even with the smart mirror, you can actually place a 3D model right in your space who will do it along with you. So with the when Nikhil works with the 3D model, he actually only creates, there is a character, the 3D character which you do. Actually, Nikhil will be able to explain the rigging part, what rigging is, how rigging helps you to animate a character, and what is the workflow. So basically, his part was related with tutorials. He didn't have to directly interact with the smart mirror or anything. He has to just create an animation, a basic 3D model, 3D character with an animation, and he will provide it to us. And then it is our idea or our requirement wherever we want to use it. He will not bother or get into uh, those things.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, Nikhil,
Okay.
if you can
I get
explain.
it. Okay. Great. So we'll move into that in the next section of this podcast. Okay. Um, You're listening to My First Job. I'm speaking to Hrithik and Nikhil. We went quite deep, maybe unintentionally, into NFTs and what NFTs were and how they got animated and how that was a certain phase where people either got the value or they didn't. And that is now changing. So Hrithik is now speaking to us about the kind of things that he actually does in AR and how this is connected to animation. He corrected me when I said that Nikhil would do the animation and they would do the coding. He said that's a separate exercise altogether. And in the next phase, I will be speaking to Nikhil about how he rigs up the animation and how he creates it based on a brief that teams like Nikhil require and what is the kind of interaction that is happening. They will also go through their demo reels and tell us about how they have approached certain projects. So you will get to see some of the work that they're doing, and you will also see what is involved in doing that work and what they see in how this field will evolve, because it requires several people to collaborate and contribute in order to make something happen. So please share, let your friends know about it, and if you find this useful, please do spread the word. Okay, let me get back to them. Yeah. So, Nikhil, why don't we go straight away into that rigging bit? So, what would you do? What are some of the projects that you did where rigging was involved? And what is a
Uh,
rig? People might want to understand what that is. Yes.
sure. Let me show you
Do you
an
want to go
image
through
and
your, the demo that you're showing, and then you tell me that this is it? This is what there was rigging involved, or something. Do you have that in that demo? Let's watch the demo, and then you can tell me what exactly was involved.
okay, sure. Just a second. I will share the screen.
Okay. Meanwhile, let me know once the asset is ready. Oh, it's there.
Uh,
Right.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So
So you
this
can play
was
it again.
yes.
Yeah. So
So
I
actually,
can
it is a
see
collage.
that.
So yes,
Yeah. You can describe the collage and let us know what you did in some of these things.
sure. So here you can see like Mira Royal Detective. It was a Disney show. It was aired on Disney TV. So what we get is like we get a character which is already rigged. We get bones. Rigging is something like this. Let me show you 3D rig something. Maybe this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So then you're deciding how the
So
characters
if
will
a
move.
yes, so if let's this is the character, and backend it will look like this. It will be having a controls for everything like the muscles, shoulder, head, neck, legs, everything. So we will be like it will be in like this T pose. This is a rigged character, and we will be creating different poses and key poses or different keyframes, and we use software like Maya Blender. So this will interpolate, and we will get this outputs. Like we will create this pose from like this tiny character is moving. So we'll
Okay.
create key poses of different variations, and it will interpolate. We polish it, and this is like animation, and this is
Okay.
rigging part. So in big studios there are these two different artists. Like 3D rigging artist is different, and 3D animation artist is like different. So even for this color and everything, a texturing artist is different. So my major part was like doing the 3D animation thing, like the helicopter
Okay. And then the
yeah.
water and stuff like that. That is
That is
another
done by
layer.
some
What exactly?
we FX artist will do that. This is
Okay.
in
Okay.
visual effects thing. So if
Okay.
you see a single shot, it is not done by a single artist. It has been gone through from
Yeah.
pre-production to
I
the
think.
post-production to editing
Yeah.
thing. So
I think
almost
that's what
as
people have to understand when you just
yes.
explained it. There's a 3D texture artist, there is a 3D uh,
So
character design artist, there are people who look at textures, there are look at people who look at layers. So this whole thing comes together with a large team that is working in the background. Okay.
true, true,
So
true.
Nikhil,
So
let
oh,
me just
yes,
bring Hrithik here to try and for me to understand a little more about what AR would do. Give me an example, because I think you spoke about the Kumbh experience. So why don't we see that, and then you tell me how exactly you worked on it.
Okay, I would try to also tell our viewers that what AR and VR is, how it is different from
Yes.
each, both of the experiences are different. So, what Nikhil is doing right now is 3D animations and all those things. And as he mentioned about rigging, rigging is something where you actually map the bones with the characters so that they can have a lifelike feel. So the softwares that I mentioned about Blender and Maya, these are the core softwares where 3D comes out of. So when you get a 3D model, just like if you mentioned about a character, when you get a character, the character can be used for various purposes. Either you can take the character and generate a video animation out of that, which is a video render. It's a very large pipeline. It involves large teams, different people working on different aspects. So this is one of the use case of 3D. Other use cases that you can build websites and uh, products where 3D is actually embedded directly inside the website or the application, and you see 3D models. You can interact with it on your web page or mobile application. Then comes the 3D, taking 3D out. So when you interact with a camera, the camera takes it senses the surrounding. In all the cameras after 2019, they introduced depth sensing. So most of the cameras they have it, and that time it was just evolving. So when you have a depth sensor in your camera, it actually uses the lidar sensing, and iPhones by default have the lidar sensing. Not all mobiles have lidar sensing, but there is a thing called Google AR Core. So AR Core supported devices have the AR functionality, and Google and Apple. They both have Android and iOS respectively. They were heavily promoting AR and VR back in 2020. They were promoting AR because handheld devices were very common. You can just open up your camera, you can scan the surroundings, and you can place any 3D object in the surrounding. So let's imagine you want to
Okay.
see that if I buy a, let's say, a switch, uh, switch and board for turning lights on and off. So you can scan your you can take your camera out, you can take the 3D model of the switch, and you can place it on any wall, and you can see how well does it look, or what are the things. So this is one of the use case, which is AR. Then there is VR, where you actually need a specialized device, which is a VR headset. You wear the VR headset on top. You can visualize everything, and you are actually disconnected from the world. You can see it inside the space, and there you see that, okay, like there are some 3D cartoons, a 3D city entirely, some trains moving in. So you are actually inside of a cartoon, and you can uh, you're disconnected from the world. And then there is also MR, which is mixed reality. So how mixed reality works is it alters your real space. So suppose in your real space there is a wall which is of blue color. You with your MR, it will transform the blue color wall into maybe let's say a space view, maybe a spacecraft and a space view. So it will just alter the reality for you. But then again, you need a specialized VR headset. Most famous ones VR headsets are Quest, Apple Vision Pro, and Microsoft HoloLens. Microsoft HoloLens was the only popular, and it was a bit expensive, but it was industrial grade VR headset until the Quest came in and they brought in affordable headsets which were around 30-40 K. So this is what different use cases of 3D is. I also worked on AR. We have worked with restaurant menus. We wanted to visualize and we want to show the users even before ordering the food that how would their food actually look like. They can get the feel of the texture, the color, and they can sense that, okay, this is what their food is going to look. And maybe they can also take a picture assuming that the food is already there and they are eating it. Imagine if
Okay.
you ordered a food, you ate it, you liked it, but you missed taking a picture. So afterwards, you can actually take a picture. You can place it in the you can place the food and you can take a picture and you can maybe share it, promote it, whatever you wanna be. So these are some of the use cases of AR which are very common in the restaurants field. In different fields like e-commerce, you can actually see the product, the electronic or uh, sofas, TVs in your real world, and you
Right.
can imagine it.
Right.
Uh, then there is VR, virtual reality. VR is what we actually work with, but we have developed something where we integrate VR and 3D together and we build up a metaverse. Because when metaverse was a huge failure from Facebook because everyone didn't have a VR headset right away, and even if people had, they had to charge it, they have to use it, and it was an inconvenience to actually put it on top of their heads. Plus VR is not always good. It's also you get VR sickness, you get
Yeah.
motion
All of
sickness.
those things. You have
Yes,
some projects that you worked on, Ritik, which you can show, because I think that
yes,
people, once they see it, then I think they'll have a much better idea of what you're talking about.
yes.
So I think what you showed me the other day was the Kumbh entrance, which I
uh,
can put this
yes.
in. Yes.
In
Okay.
this one, I haven't included the Kumbh entrance, but I will show some better ones as it
Yeah.
comes. So this was one of the campaign where we had for Rising Madhya Pradesh. We had for Tech Mahindra Global Chess League. We had season 1 and season 2 in the metaverse where people exclusively went inside the metaverse and they watched the GCL. GCL was
Okay.
a very famous thing. It was happening and it's gonna happen again this year. So then these are some of the use cases. This is the Lawberg University and he teaches in there. So here I'm gonna show a use case of what we built for Ayodhya. This year we built for Kumbh Mela, and last year we did it for Ayodhya. So I'm gonna show what this looks like. I will actually also try to break it down for understanding what this actually is. So initially, here we see is a web page where you can enter your name, your city, and everything, and uh, you can click on visit Ayodhya, which will actually take you there. And then there is this animation. This animation actually helps you visualize that this is your journey that is gonna be. So this is the transition. This is the 3D model of the entire Ram Mandir, and we have the cameras panning and everything. Uh, we are showing this as a video because the actual experience is much more optimized for showing it on the mobile phones. So this is the loading
Okay.
screen. After the loading screen, the actual metaverse.
So all of this is first there's a 3D model of the temple created before you start doing all this, right? Yeah.
Yes, we
Okay.
spend around 3.5 months with about 8 plus people, 8 plus 3D modelers who actually research the internet and everything. Because that
And then
time,
created that.
yeah, recreated it because the official models they had some miniature images and pics to show that okay, this is how it looks like. And because we worked with ABP News, they had much of the information that they had
Okay.
lots of raw files, but they also didn't have the 3D model. So we had to recreate the 3D model. And
Yeah. You can take us through this now. How do you explore the temple?
yeah, so we have built a gamified version where you had a step 1 to collect puja thali. We built this for all age groups. We wanted everyone to visit it and uh, explore what it is. So step 1 is to collect puja thali, explore the mandir area. They can ring the bell, they can enter the mandir, perform a puja. So this is for anyone who is not aware of what a typical darshan actually includes. And
Actually
then
involves. Okay.
yeah, these are the instructions that you can use WASD on your keyboard and this arrow keys plus your mouse. We also had the entire exact same experience on mobile phone as well, where we gave two joysticks, one on the left side and one on the right side, and we also gave instructions for using them. So example, this 3D avatar is already entered in, and we give a small welcome message. And there is this entire space where you understand, like there is so much of information. You can go and read about what it is. So this is the step one. Here is the promo video of Cycle Agarbatti. So they were the sponsors for.
So you
Uh,
got you got ads to come into the experience as well. Okay.
Yes, yes. We had lots of
Okay.
users. Like we had 500K plus visitors in just over 2 days. And over a
Wow.
week, we had like lot more people coming in and experiencing this thing. It was a very major hit, and all other news agencies, they were looking up to ABP News as an inspiration that wow, like this is what real engagement is. And they launched it on the very day. We launched it on the very day of Ayodhya inauguration. So people were watching it in their in their televisions that okay, this is the inauguration, but they were also like while traveling, we saw many people were because this was optimized for mobile phones, you can watch it on 4G 5G network. We try to keep the scenes very low quality, low optimized and reduced size. So this was something from ABP News. So if you see this temple and if you see our temple, they both are different because they got this video later on from other team build up and everything. So this is our temple, which is quite optimized. We have tried to keep the poly count minimum because we wanted to support every phone, and it can also support phones up to 3 GB RAM. So you don't really need a gaming phone to actually access
Be
it.
able to see it. Yeah.
Yes. So this is
Okay.
like a explanatory video that this is the Rang Mandapam. Uh,
You know, Hrithik, I knew this would happen because once you got into describing it, it would be so involving that people would. So, I think somewhere in the description, we'll try and provide a link if you can put it up where people can see it online. Because we've
sure.
reached the end of the show. We've been speaking for an hour, and I don't think we've been able to fit everything that we wanted. But thank you for doing this because I think there's some lovely stuff that you've done. And you told me that there were 50 million views of this, right?
Yeah,
So
visitors. There were
50
500.
million. That's, yeah,
No, no,
that's
that was for
absolutely amazing. Absolutely
yeah,
amazing. Okay.
50 million was for Global Chess League, and yeah, this
Okay.
was
Okay.
500K plus. Yes.
Great. So thank you both for coming on the show. I'm sorry that I had to cut it off at this point, but obviously anyone who wants to get in touch can figure out how they'll get in touch with you. At least you've given a trailer of the possibilities in AR and VR, and I think there are some very exciting times ahead for anyone who chooses to get into this as a profession. So thank you for introducing us to the wonderful world of where AR and VR are going, because there's a difference when you see it in the newspaper and being told versus actually demonstrating what this whole thing is about. Thank you for coming on the show. Please let all your friends know, and I look forward to tracking your progress in the years ahead. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you
Anything
very
that
much.
you want to say, a quick word? I think we have just enough time for that. One line.
I would just recommend everyone to get into this field, explore it, see your interest lies in because it's very interesting. So that is all.
Wonderful. Nikhil, anything to say? Same. Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.